Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 166. Welcome again to the latest Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loans Services, the commercial finance expert. In this bulletin, succession planning and business protection, latest peer-to-peer sector lending figures, and 3-minute loans from Nat West. We start this week's bulletin by taking a look at the topic of succession planning. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, as a business grows and develops, there starts to emerge key people within the business who are really central to that business's success, whether it's within a department or it even may be you as a business leader or the owner of the business. You are really central to the success of that business. Now, the problem is, of course, what happens if that key employee or that key business owner either unfortunately passes away or leaves and goes somewhere else? It leaves a massive gap within the business, and that's where succession planning needs to come into play. Now, Aldermore Bank, as part of its regular future attitude surveys, I just had a look at this issue of succession planning, and it found that 61% of small businesses said they do not have a clear succession plan in place. Now, obviously, that leaves them vulnerable. So how big is this problem? Well, in fact, only 10% of those businesses surveyed said that they did not have key employees. In other words, 90% of them say that they do have people who are key to their business. Well, how do you mitigate this risk? Well, funny enough, this actually came up with a client that I was dealing with this week. Very successful business, turning over £1 million plus a year, 2 directors, and we talked about this issue of succession planning. Now, each of the directors have very key roles to play within the business, and they admitted that if one of them unfortunately passed away or left, it would leave the business very vulnerable. The solution? Well, in this particular case, it was arranging or getting somebody in touch with them who could arrange business protection cover. This is life cover, where if one of them does pass away, for example, then at least there would be a lump sum available to either pay down borrowings and reduce the financial burden of the business, or leave enough spare cash that they could go out and hire in a new skill set to fill that gap. So an interesting survey there. So the key question is, of course, what's your succession plan? Who are your key employees, and what can you do to mitigate that risk? More and more individuals and businesses are borrowing money via peer-to-peer lending and crowdfunding platforms. That's what we can take from the latest lending figures released by the Peer-to-Peer Finance Association for the first quarter of 2017. The Peer-to-Peer Finance Association is a self-regulatory body comprising of 9 of the key players in this alternative lending space. And they estimate that in the first quarter of 2017, its members have lent out a total of £1 billion to individuals and businesses. Yes, £1 billion in 3 months. It's a very impressive figure. Now, as I mentioned, that's money lent out to both individuals and businesses. The business element, well, they estimate that businesses have borrowed £636 million in that first 3 months. In total, there were 420,000 people and businesses borrowing via these platforms. And again, the business element, there are just under 37,000 businesses who are actively borrowing. So we can see it's really becoming mainstream. Perhaps it's time to ditch the alternative label to this sector. So if you want to know how you could tap into that in order to help grow your business, and you want to know what the options available to you are, just drop us an email, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we'll happily take you through the process. I've mentioned in previous bulletins how we're seeing more examples of how the old traditional high street banks are learning from the new players such as the peer-to-peer lenders and the crowdfunders as to how to analyse and distribute loans to small businesses. Well, the latest one to piggyback on the new technology is Nat West. It's just announced that it's on the point of launching a new online lending platform for its small business customers who wish to borrow up to £35,000. You'll be able to go to the online platform, fill in an application form, which will apparently only take about 3 minutes, and if successful, the money will be in your bank within 24 hours. very fast, very efficient. And so just another example of the main high street banks really learning from the new kids on the block. Now, if you are a NatWest customer, NatWest have said that they've already pre-approved 500,000 customers for a loan based on how your account performance is. So next time you log on to your NatWest portal, you may see the figure there as to how much the bank is willing to lend to you. So it was a great initiative there from NatWest. And if you're a NatWest customer, just go log in just to see how much the bank are willing to lend you. Well, that's it for another bulletin. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a like and a share. It all helps. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much for being with me. Look forward to being with you again next time. Have a great, successful and profitable week. Bye-bye now.